I don't know what's wrong with me today. I swear I did not drink anything before making those shorts. Hi, welcome back to my channel, La Fraise. I'm Noémie and today we're meeting in a little bit of a more casual setting. I am about to trace off those shorts to create a copy for myself. I've been on a bike holiday this summer and I've realized that to do bike shorts are, I know, shocker, bike shorts are actually the best thing to wear. I was wearing a lot of shorts made out of cottons and honestly it wasn't that comfortable, kind of like stayed them through the day, so it wasn't particularly agreeable. So I want to make more of this pair of shorts that I really like. They're a bit longer, which works well for me. The details I'm going to scrap in my copying is this random seam here. I don't know if you can see it just there. So that's a different piece of fabric. This is a different piece of fabric. And I don't really see why you can't just cut one long strip. So I am going to cut one long strip and just, make it super easy for myself. I will not put, so there's a little like coin pocket here. I never ever use it, so I will be getting rid of that. The side pocket has a double fold. So yeah, I think here you can see there's one fold here, and actually you can use the pocket double because you can also put something here. So it's kind of like one fold, two fold. Okay, fine, I get it. This on this side is the bottom of the pocket, and so actually they just copied it on the other side, except that the other side does not have a pocket. Maybe for ease I will do the same as them. And originally I was going to say that I was not going to do the double fold because you don't need two pocket sides, but actually it kind of looks cute, so maybe I will do the double fold. Who knows, I will see how wild I feel. Otherwise, I think that's basically it. So I will simplify the waistband a little bit. It has an elastic all round. What I will do is try the shorts on just before I finish the waistband and see if I need an elastic all round, or otherwise I have shorts where the elastic is only at the back, I believe, and I think that could also be an option. But I shall see if, it feels already like secure, because I don't know if it's going to be short. I'm going to jump around a ton in or not. So I will see. Also, I'm doing this in a very small amount of scrap fabric, and I don't know if that scrap fabric is squat proof. So basically I'm just testing out copying the shorts. If it works, a treat. I have another pair of shorts. I have two pairs of shorts of the same brand, and one is longer and one is shorter. One has a higher waist and one has a lower waist, but they are the same model outside of the length and waist, if that makes sense. So I'll see if I want to copy those or not. I think if the shorts I'm making now are like not squat proof, or I'm not sure if the fabric is thick enough so that it doesn't make you look naked. Basically, like, I don't like when the fabric is so thin that people can see you. I like to preserve a little bit of mystery when I am in my shorts. If it's the case but they still fit nicely, I'll wear them on the dresses, because I really always wear shorts under my dresses, otherwise my thighs rub and it's uncomfortable. So that's the plan. My beautiful very technical material today is sheets of paper. As it's not a big project, I'm able to fit the pieces of pattern on just paper. When I have tracing paper, I find it a little bit more comfortable. So if it gets too annoying, I might do that. Just that tracing paper is a bit more expensive. Not so much, but I would place the tracing paper on top, and I would kind of like look by transparency and go just using basically regular pen. So here, because I can't use the transparency, I have to line up my first seam, trace it, and then kind of like roll it over and then trace the seam as they come. Maybe I should use the tracing paper. I kind of want to use the normal paper just because it's going to be a little bit more durable. I want to like make marks and add seam allowance and stuff. So I will try with the normal paper and we're gonna see how that works out. So that got extremely quickly too annoying with the paper. So we are going on to tracing paper. I even was like, it would be so nice if I didn't care about those shorts anymore, because I would chop them up and use them as a fabric pattern. But sadly, I still like them and want to keep them. But otherwise, if they had finished their life I would literally chop them up. And for the construction itself, I always look at my seams. And by looking at the seams, for example here, you can see that this one is underneath that one. So that informs me that this seams come first and that one comes second, for example. But honestly, I kind of do a mix. I do a lot of letting the garment talk to me, but I also kind of do whatever I want. So if it's something I have already made, I might use my knowledge of making those things in the past. Here it's something I haven't made, but there's a couple of videos online of people making leggings. So I'm gonna look at how they make it and kind of like a mix of what I feel like, what the garment tells me, and magic. I decide how I make it. In the past, when I have copied things, I have made them very religiously according to the garment. But now I realize sometimes, you know, stuff are made in a way for no particular reasons, no reasons to be so precious about. So, for example here, interesting, very interesting. Could you have sandwiched this? Yeah, they could have sandwiched this if they... So for example here, they haven't sandwiched this piece of fabric between those two pieces of fabric, and I'm kind of wondering why. I might see at the construction, but here what they have done is sew it together and then top stitch this seam flat. Maybe it's just because they used a cover stitch and it was easier that way. But so I might explore sandwiching that piece of fabric between the two pieces of fabric that form the waistband, because it might be nicer, but all is possible. We shall see. A couple of things have happened since the last time we spoke. I have been doing a bit of thinking as well. One, I have cut my pieces, but some of them were too close to one another. So for example here, I've added my seam allowance everywhere, but you can see that on the bottom I'm missing a little bit. So in those cases, I add a note to myself to add a centimeter seam allowance. So it's fine. It's my own pieces, so I know how to use them, but you know, a bit crafty. And there are pieces like these ones, and this is the leg. And you know, I traced the leg in one go, but then here I just wrote on the piece that I needed to add a centimeter seam allowance as well. So I kind of have pieces that are ready to cut / they have a few notes on them, which I think is fine. So the next step that I'm going to take now is cut all of my pieces. I think I really have enough fabric and that it's not too tricky, because so I have the one long bit here, but even the shorter bit here is not that short, if that makes sense. So that's all good. I'm going to do that now. Second realization that I had while I was at the gym wearing my top made out of this fabric, and it's that it's very, you can see it here, it's very see-through. So this, I can already tell you for free, is not going to be sweat proof. So I'm going to see if I'm even able to show you this without being indecent. But I thought still good to test the pattern. It has a good amount of stretch for what I want to make with it. And I think it'll be my like chafing shorts for under dresses. This way I tested, but definitely this is not going to be my gym shorts for sure, because I do not want to be quite this exposed. And then finally, I've been looking at these shorts a lot. And you know, I explained like, oh, why didn't they sandwich this so that this seam is not visible? Now I know. It's so that this seam looks like this, and I have looked, and actually quite a few of my shorts and leggings have a seam like this. So it seems like they sew it right side on the top, and then they take the elastic and they sew the elastic to the seam allowance, because if I feel in it, I really can't catch the seam allowance, like I can't feel the seam allowance separate from the elastic. So they actually sew together. Wait, is the seam allowance separate from... Yeah, exactly. So they sew the seam allowance and the elastic to the outer waistband. And so that means that we have this look inside. I think I'm going to try to do something similar, probably with a zigzag from my part. And so I will have something like this at the attachment. I will actually construct it in a similar way, because I've seen that quite a few of my leggings have that. So I guess there's a reason if they're all doing it. So yeah, gonna see how that goes. But it was my fun discovery of the day. I think that's all I wanted to report on for now. Oh no, those shorts are getting a bit worn. It's fine, I'm copying them now. Okay, I'll cut the pieces. I'm actually, tell me I'm not the only one doing this. I'm actually not going to start sewing the shorts now because the thread I have in my machine matches another fabric I have and I need to sew something on. So I think I'm going to cut the next project as well. Sew that project so I don't have to change my thread and needle and then go to the shorts. It's like so lazy. I just don't want to change my thread. So I'm going to cut the next project first and then do this. And so actually to make this waistband, I'm going to cut the inner waistband is going to be this piece exactly with the centimeter seam allowance. And this one, I'm going to add a centimeter to account for this bit. Ha, ha, ha. Remember when I said like, oh, I have enough fabric, I'm definitely fine. I do not have enough fabric. The pockets have gone, the pockets are forgotten. I still need to squeeze the bottom of my side piece. I should be able to find, enough fabric to fit the bottom of my side piece. What I'm struggling with is the back of my waistband. And I didn't realize how much space this would take, but I need to double this, and this is why this is a bit tricky. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fit this at all. If I do, I'm going to have to piece it from a million. I mean, I'm talking about like piecing, but like not going to fit. Never talk too quick. I definitely have enough space. Like it always takes more fabric than you imagine. It's crazy. So need to fit this in. Also, let's say that strategy where I have notes that say cut 1 centimeter extra here is dangerous because honestly it's so easy to then get carried away. You focus, like now I'm focused on piecing this and making it work, and yeah, very nearly didn't cut the extra 1 centimeter. So I would say if you could be less lazy than I am, retracing it with the centimeter extra would be better. Like either your entire piece doesn't have the seam allowance and you need to add it everywhere, or your entire piece has it, but the in-between that I'm doing is a risky business. Okay, I managed to cut the last piece, but it is not in grey. So this is going to be the inside of the back of the waistband. But at some point I just needed some fabric to finish the shorts. But yeah, I'm just sad I won't have the pockets. At the same time, if it's to wear on the skirts anyway, which it 100% is at this point, because it's going to be way too see-through to wear any other way. So I guess I'll test the pockets on another model. But I was really excited to replicate it as faithfully as possible. But it's fine. I have the pocket pieces ready for the next time I remake it. So I'm just going to go for the shape this time. So I've kindly been sent to the office, which is now starting to be called the sewing room. I used to sew always in the living room. I mean, on a dining room table, basically. I mean, it's like one big room with the living room. And my machine has been here a lot because it was really hot and it's cooler in the office. So I've been in the office a little bit. Then my wife was starting to call the office the sewing room. And then she was like, yeah, why don't you go in the sewing room and not on the dining room table? So I feel like I have been properly kicked out. So now this is where I sew. I have been, I have been told I'm no longer welcome on the dining room table. Apparently, it's because I leave my machine there and I don't tidy it up every single time. But I think in winter, when it's really cold in that room and it's going to be warmer in the living room, I think I'll try to re-migrate back to the living room, but I'll make sure I'll tidy my machine every time because otherwise it's not appreciated. I'm going to construct my shorts now. So basically I'm going to take those ones, such a nice print, take those ones inside out and look what I do first. So I think basically I'm going to start with the gusset and then go from there and sew everything one by one. So yeah, I'm going to take these inside out and use that as my guide basically. Again, I'm going to change my needle into a jersey needle as well. And okay, I've just changed my needle, and maybe you're like, Noémie, your thread is partly brown. And yeah, I only have 3 bobbin spools. And as you know, I'm trying to sew in a minimalist fashion. So I'm happy with I have 4. So I have this one and another 3. And they're all currently busy with some colors. But basically at this point, I know that the shorts are going to be too see-through to wear outside. So I am going to use my leftover threads and kind of empty my bobbins with them. So what I'm going to do is do all the constructions with those ugly threads. And I also have a dark blue I'd like to finish, and that might be a little bit more subtle, but I'll make sure the top stitching is in the right color, so that's what you're really going to see. And my plan of action, so obviously, you know, I don't have an overlocker and I don't have a cover stitch to do those beautiful stitches, but what I'm planning to do is a triple straight stitch for the actual seam, and then finish it. I think I'm gonna top stitch everything with the honeycomb stitch. I need to retest it. I don't know which one it is anymore. I don't recognize it on my dial. But so yeah, basically going to do nice top stitching and a triple straight stitch, and that should be fine. So I believe this is the one I'm going to use, but I need to find a little scrap of fabric to retest that. I'm just going to test that on my gusset actually, but I believe that's the one. No, I think that's that one. And if you know, Steph Sohn talked about the honeycomb stitch, and I was like, well, if Steph Sohn has said it, then I need to do it. Actually, I'm first going to quickly baste those two together. Those are my gussets, and I have decided to double it because I saw that in my pants here there's also like a second layer, so I thought, well, I'll just double it. It's not the same fabric, like this is a special softer fabric, but I mean, it's fine. I'll just do a double layer of this. So I'll baste them together and then I'll sew the gusset following this instructions. That didn't take long to make a first mistake. So actually something I knew, but I was like, oh, I don't really see why, so I'll just try not to do it and it'll be fine, is that you have to start your seam like here my seam allowance is 1 centimeter. So you have to start your seam 1 centimeter down to be able to have the seam allowance for the other side, because now if I want to sew this, there's no more seam allowance. I knew I had to start it further, but I was like, oh, I don't really want to. So we're gonna start unpicking right from the start. I have unpicked the 1 centimeter. It was triple straight stitch. As we know, a pain to remove, but like just 1 centimeter, I could do this. So now I have a seam allowance again to sew the other side. Gusset. So how did I do this? No clue, but this is the right side and this is the wrong side. But this is also the inside of my waistband, and triple straight stitch is too awful to, you see, this is the right side. It's too awful to remove, so I will actually just keep it like this. Honestly, it's at this point you're like, wow, these are going to be the worst shorts ever, but I think it's still going to work. But yeah, I really don't want to unpick this. So we're gonna keep it like that. Okay, I finished my bobbin. I was basically doing as much, I ended up halfway. I mean, not even halfway. I just did this and then I ran out. But I was doing as much construction as possible. So I've also done the sides. Wait, that's the front. Also done the sides here and like added the bottom piece to the sides. In the end, because I don't have pockets, I could just have done one long piece for the sides and not bother with this. But I thought I would be able to add the pockets. So now that my bobbin has run out, I'm going to change it to black, and I'm going to do all the top stitching on all the pieces I've done, including the gusset, but I was waiting to have a black bobbin thread to do that, obviously. I was trying to top stitch and for some reason my brain totally bugged, because did I catch my fabric? Not at all. I just did my seam allowance. So I'm going to go back and this time obviously catch the fabric with the seam allowance, otherwise this is not top stitching, is it? To be honest, it is quite practical to be in the office, because otherwise every time I want to film, I kind of need to be like, okay, I'm going to film, don't talk, like don't make too much noise. So I mean, for filming it is easy to be in a different room, but then also we can't see each other anymore, like in my little room here alone. Don't know. That's better. Actually, I don't know if that's smart or not, but before top stitching this, I'm going to shut this seam and then I'm going to top stitch it in one go with that, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to do that. One, my wife came to talk to me, and while I was sewing this seam, I had a massive panic that I was actually sewing like my crotch, like sewing, you know, the two legs here, that I was sewing those two shut together, and I was like, oh my god, if I have to unpick all of this with a triple straight stitch, it's going to be awful. It wasn't the case, so that's fine. That's my center back seam. However, I should have done this seam before top stitching this, because it created a tuck like this. So I'm going to have to unpick this bit, unpick the top stitching and re-sew that. So top tip, next time, first doing the two seams and then top stitching. You do and you learn. If you've sewn gussets before, I'm curious to know how and what you do, but what I'm going to do personally now is cut this to flip the seam allowance, you know, towards that side. So I'm gonna re-top stitch just a little bit on the other side. It's no longer top stitch from here, so I'm going to re-top stitch this bit, but then cut this and flip the seam allowance and then do this one in one go. But if you have any experience in making leggings with a gusset, I'm really curious on what's the proper way to make it. Oh, that looks good. It's really weird. I think it's because I'm doing close-ups from far away. No, it's not even as dark as it is. Like, it's quite a dark fabric. And honestly, the stitching is basically invisible to the eye because the fabric is so dark. I don't know why it's picked up like this on camera. Definitely not what it actually looks like, but I'm super happy with this finish. To be honest, I have a light obsession with like leggings and sportswear in general, so I feel like once I can make my own, I will be unstoppable. The only thing is that from Belgium, it's really hard to find good lycra for sportswear. There are really good websites in the US or in the UK, but like the US, there was always massive customs fees. And now that Brexit has happened, there's also massive custom fees for the UK. So that's no longer an option. And there is this French website, La Petite Mercerie, and they have sports lycra. They have a normal one and a soft finish. And I really want to test them both, but they're out of the black one. So they have like black, light pink and white. I think light pink and white would really not suit me. So I'm kind of waiting for the black to come back in stock to test that out, because then that would be a good European option. But if you know of any European sellers that have very nice lycra, and like what I find most of the time, like what I have found, for example, in the fabric store where I bought that red lycra that I have used for the layout out for my friend, they have those lycras in quite a few colors, but they're more like swimwear, dancewear lycra, and I find that something that's really thought for sports and for leggings. Like, it has a different feel. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's lycra, it's fine. So any good tips for sportswear fabric, even though I probably don't need to be enabled and I don't need to make more sportswear, but I really like sportswear. And like sewing, okay, I was going to say sewing has ruined my life. Sewing has ruined my shopping life. Yeah, I know, Milo, that was a joke. That was a joke, Milo. Sewing has ruined my shopping life because I used to enjoy shopping as a relaxing activity, and I would, you know, be like, oh, blah, blah, I do this, I deserve new pair of leggings. But now I like look at leggings and I'm like, oh, I could probably make them for a lot cheaper. And I have that with like basically everything. I can't buy anything anymore because I'm like, oh, I could just make it. So yeah, so it is true only if I can actually find some fabric. So any European based followers who have tips, I mean, I know that most of you aren't because you're in the US or the UK, Canada or Australia, so you can't help. But I know there's a few German people out there. Do you have any good like German stores that sell lycra? Because I guess the shipping from Germany would be fine. So German viewers, that's a mission for you guys. By the way, I'm saying Germans, but it's because I see from my stats that Germans is the most Europeans I have in my viewers. But obviously, if you're French or any other European countries or even Belgian, and you have good tips for lycra and like specifically like leggings, tops, and like sportswear fabric, let me know as well. Okay, so we have an issue. I guess what I have done wrong, but so this is the back and I have added the side panels, and then I'm going to still add the front. Then I'm going to top stitch all of those seams down. But as you can see, my side panels are too short. And seeing the length I'm missing, I am guessing that I did not include the hem on them, because the hem is supposed to be 1.5 centimeters, and as you can see, it's about what's missing. So I guess I'm just gonna add the front and then see, but I guess I'm going to chop the back and front to make it match the length of the side panels, because obviously I can't make the side panels any longer, but I will probably do a much shallower hem than I had planned, because if I do the 1.5 centimeters, then the shorts are going to get quite short. So to preserve as much length as possible, if I have to chop this bit here, I think I will do a shallower hem to compensate a little bit. But yep, I'm going to quickly have a look at my pattern piece to make sure that if I have not included the hem allowance, that I mark it on it now so that future shorts would be the right length. No, I have. Yeah, I thought that would have been weird if I hadn't. So then the tracing must literally be wrong. So this is how it goes. Yeah, literally must have traced it funny and that it's not matching. So that will end up in my little sewing notebook so that next time I come back to this project, when I read the notes, I know that I have to be careful about this. Wait, that's wrong. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. No, it is right. Okay. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Sorry. Crisis averted. That's a totally fine piece. I don't know what's... Okay, I swear I did not drink anything before making those shorts, but yeah, okay. Just going to sew this one then. I take back everything I said. No worries, it's all good. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I swear I did not have anything funny for breakfast, but I was looking at this and I was like, the seam really doesn't match. How did I cut this like this? Like, as you can see here, it's like not matching with this at all. And I was like, it's not working. What's happening? What's happening is that if you don't, like, I was basically holding this seam, which is the inside seam of the shorts, and I was basically trying to match that seam with that seam, which was obviously a disaster. If you match the right seam with the right seam, then it works. So yeah, I'm sorry, like I don't know what's wrong with me today, clearly not doing too well. But yeah, we are reaching the end and, you know, soon, like just basically finishing this, adding the waistband, the hem, and we're done. What I wanted to say is that here I think I'll still be able to top stitch a little bit because it's short, and so I'll be able to get in the leg. But I realized that if I were to do leggings, I probably would have to revise my construction and decide which seam I don't want top stitched, because I don't think I would be able to top stitch everything, because it's like once the leggings are a tube, it starts to be a bit more tricky, obviously. So something to think about, but I mean, at the moment they're short, so I think I'll be able to top stitch everything. Milo is helping as usual, sleeping just next to me. Hey, okay, gonna let him rest and go and finish this. Okay, top stitching was fine. I kind of went through that leg, stopped here, and then through that leg, stopped here. And because the fabric is very stretchy and obviously it's short, I could just like push everything out of the way and top stitch without catching everything on the way. So this is starting to look pretty much like shorts at this point. I do not dare to try them on because I'm not psychologically ready for them not to fit in any way. So that's just my way of dealing with things, is to not deal with it. So I will hem it and then look at the waistband. Maybe we're gonna stop for lunch before I do the waistband, but let's already hem them. And because in the end it looks like I cut the pieces at the right size, I am going to hem it at the planned 1.5 centimeter. I definitely reached a point where I'm too tired and over it, but I didn't make this match. So as you can see, this is not a straight waistband. This should have been sewn like that, and I have sewn it like that, so it goes up. Basically it's an angle and I had to match the angle so it keeps going straight, which I haven't done. So I need to unpick all of this. As we know, it's triple straight stitch, so it's a pain. So yeah, I mean, at least it's not too long a seam, but I can't believe I'm making so many mistakes at this point. I think if you need a sign that it's time to stop, this is definitely it, but I'm very bad at listening to very clear signs that say stop, because I'm like, I'm so close to the end, I want to finish, but I'm definitely going to, and I'm going to unpick this, and then I think I'm going to break for lunch because it's getting quite terrible if you ask me. Sorry, I think it was terrible framing, but you're on my sewing machine. Yeah, it's just, when everything starts to go wrong, like it's definitely time to stop, and I should have stopped, but don't like stopping. This is unpicked. I had a lunch break. I think it's still like I'm so close to the end. I literally need to put the waistband together, attach the elastic and attach the waistband, and we're done. So I'm going to finish this today, but just something in general, like I'm really like, I start sewing and I'm like, it's fun, this is my hobby, I love it, this is fun. And then I get more and more like annoyed because I'm getting tired and I keep sewing. And it's really like, sewing is for fun. I should not sew until this is no longer fun. And yeah, I always seem to do that. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's kind of like you get into your project and you want to keep going, but then you start hating it, and it's like, but you're sewing for fun, so why are you sewing until it's no longer fun? But I'm sure many of you can sympathize with this condition that I have. But yeah, going to finish putting the waistband together. I have to do an extra seam in the back because I had to make many different pieces of fabric for the waistband to make it work. But yeah, we soon finished, and then I'm interested to see how the shorts are. I'll also kind of review if I think it's worth it to make your own shorts or not, like at least for me. And I think I'll give it a bit of time, because I know that if I look at it kind of like straight after this, the chances are really high I'm just going to be so over it that I'm going to be like, actually just buy the shorts. But realistically, if you take the time I spent unpicking, this took a few hours, but if I didn't need to unpick everything I've unpicked, so if I go a bit slower and I don't make the mistakes I've made, I think it would be quite a quick make. So maybe it's still worth it. I just need to find cute prints. Guys, top stitching and we're done. I kind of went ahead and powered through to get this over with. I really liked a little peak of color. So top stitching, and we have shorts. I was feeling grumpy during the whole process, but now I'm like, this looks like shorts. Let's try them on. Okay, I haven't looked at myself. Let's discover me together. I made like shorts. Oh my god. And like, unsurprisingly, they fit just the same as the ones sorry, that's my head. They fit just the same as the ones I copied. So actually, I really love the length, the fit. Oh my god. I felt so grumpy the entire end of this project, but to be honest, lunchtime was coming, so I was feeling a bit grumpy, and I was like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it? I'm starting to not enjoy this, but now I'm really happy. Just to confirm, I assume they're going to be very see-through. I'm going to have a check. Yeah, go for gusset, which gives you like range of motion, nice elastic. Yeah, that's the part I didn't show you. So the elastic, I kind of really just placed my elastic, I put it on top of this, just like, I didn't even check like how stretchy is my elastic compared to theirs. I was like, I can't be bothered. I just placed the elastic and copied the elastic that I could feel in here, and I placed it here. And that's it. I'm going to show my wife and get the proper amount of compliments I deserve. And I don't know if on camera it looks like I get a camel toe, but it's just a shadow, like it doesn't do a camel toe. So that's unfortunate actually. So if I come, sorry, I'm making you look at my crotch, but if you look here, it looks like that shadow could be a camel toe, but actually it's the pattern in the fabric. So no camel toe, but shadow making it, no, I can see only this, shadow making it look like a camel toe. Well, anyway, it was going to wear under dresses anyway, so it's not like too bad. But if they're squat proof, then I would have worn it outside. Oh dear, oh, I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, let's go and show the wife. My wife said, put the top that matches so you can have the whole ensemble. So here's the whole ensemble, whole me-made, ready to go, fully me-made at the gym. That's super cool. I'm really happy. I don't think those are the best shorts ever, but I learned a lot making them, and I feel like I would go much faster and a bit neater making them again. Showed my wife, and she says they are squat proof, but they're not downward dog proof. So I mean, good to know. Like, I know that some people really like matching sets. I feel like it's more like pajamas for me to have the whole set, but yeah, I'm really happy. Yeah, I'm so impressed. I did not expect we would reach anything like this, so that's good. Very, very good. Love it. So I thought that by the time I finished them, I would be so over them that it would be too early to give feedback, but actually I would definitely make more of them. I would definitely branch out to make leggings. Like, now that I have a pattern, I feel like I'm unstoppable. Yeah, so I just need the fabric. And then I can make myself a million leggings, and that's great because I definitely did not need to be enabled to make more leggings, and now it's going to happen. hey, I almost thought, do I film something where I don't show my face because I look so rough? But I decided to keep it real. It's Legally Blonde week, so I'm very thankful to August Noémie for pre-filming this video. This way I could just pull it out of my bag and I didn't have to worry about making a video this week. My face is taking very badly to the stage makeup and I have very bad eczema on my face, which is why I'm barefaced. I'm trying to let my skin breathe a little bit, but I still wanted to just round up this video and to say yes, so I made those shorts in August. I've been really liking them since, and I really feel like, to answer the question, is it worth it making your own shorts or not? I would say yes. I think working without a pattern made it a little bit more complicated, but I feel like if I were to make them again now, it would go that much smoother. And I'm actually interested to start making leggings in the future. Not anytime soon, I have a lot going on, so definitely when I have time, but yeah, I'm excited for that challenge. And this week, I really want to thank Lena again, and Lena is the first person who's tipping me a monthly coffee, so thank you so much, Lena. It means a lot because I realize, you know, many people have a Patreon and everything, and they offer you something extra for the tip. At the moment, I just don't have the capacity to offer anything extra, so knowing that this is appreciated is always nice. And yeah, I'm really grateful daily for the community I have here. So whether tipping is in the card for you or not, like, I really appreciate a view, a like, a comment. Like, I really appreciate all the interactions I have with you. So you don't have to tip to get all of my gratefulness, but today I wanted to thank Lena specifically. And that's it. I'm going to leave you, and I think the next video I'm going to be able to share the last makes I made for Legally Blonde. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and don't forget that you can make anything. Bye!